the Kelpies have become one of Scotland's most iconic contemporary landmarks. Towering over a new section of the historic Forth and Clyde Canal and the adjacent M9 between the towns of Falkirk and Grangemouth, these magnificent 30-metre-tall equine sculptures form the centrepiece of the Helix project, a vibrant visitor attraction and marine hub which opened in April 2014. At 30 metres tall, the Kelpies are the world's largest pair of equine sculptures, the inspiration for which came from the heavy horses which pulled cargo boats from the canal's towpaths in the heyday of the Industrial Revolution. Designed by Scottish figurative sculptor Andy Scott, whose works frequently feature both animal and human subjects, the Kelpies symbolise the industrial past of both the canal and the communities that line its banks. Andy, who specialises in large-scale galvanised stainless steel and cast bronze works, graduated from the Glasgow School of Art in 1986. He now lives in Los Angeles with his Dutch wife Hanneke. The Scotland Channel met up with Andy at the Helix during one of his regular visits back to Scotland and asked him how this huge project came about.
Many years ago now, about 20, going on for 20 years ago, I was approached by Scottish Canals, was then British Waterways Scotland, and they had an idea for a monumental structure on the canal, originally meant to be part of a boat lift system operating at a lock here. And they came to me because they were aware of previous equine sculptures that I'd done, and they also had just completed the Falkirk wheel, which was a hugely successful engineering structure. They recognised the need for a monumental structure here at the cairn here over my shoulder, and as I say, they knew my work and they came to me and asked me if I would come up with some ideas, some designs. They gave me the title of the Kelpies and I took that and came up with some sketches. They said they had no money, and I said, well, I'll do you some designs for free, and if we are lucky with a funding application to the National Lottery in London, then you can start paying me and we'll get serious. And I'm pleased to say, after a bit of toing and froing, that's exactly what happened. I made the models. The ones you see over my shoulder are actually the second set. I made a set the same size as this, slightly less refined, you could say. I made them for free as part of the initial submission, if you like. National Lottery loved it, I'm pleased to say, and then they commissioned me to build the ones you see over my shoulder. These became the format, or the original sort of models, which were scaled up to become the full-size Kelpies, and the rest is history, as they say.
In 2007, the Big Lottery Fund awarded a grant of £25 million to the Helix project, and construction started in the summer of 2012. In February 2013, the first of 150 lorry loads of materials arrived on site, and by April that year the foundations were poured. Construction of the Kelpies began in June 2013.
Yeah, I guess I was always kind of good at art when I was a kid. A little kid and then in secondary school, and I was lucky when I was around about 12 or I don't remember exactly, I was accepted to go to lunchtime classes at Glasgow School of Art, which really sparked my imagination and got me even more enthusiastic. And then as a teenager, about 16, 17, I went to a special art course Glasgow schools used to organise, and at that point I knew I wanted to go to art school. I did. I went to Glasgow School of Art, studied there for 4 years, got my degree, went back for another year, and at that point I started to study sculpture and really became fixed on steelwork and welding steel as the way to make sculpture. I did a lot of clay modelling too, a lot more traditional stuff, but the steelwork was always in the back of my mind. And over the years, after leaving art school, various projects, a bit of a roller coaster being a professional artist, but eventually things began to fall into place, and one project leads to another. I began to do quite a few horse-based pieces, as I said previously. But yeah, no, I didn't really quite ever imagine I'd be doing something quite as big as this when I was a little lad at the art school. But as I say, you never know what's coming next, and it's what keeps you on your toes, keeps it exciting. It's just fantastic to have been part of a project like this now. As I look back over what I guess you could call my career, it was fantastic. But it all started back in those days, being, I guess, gifted at drawing and painting like many other young kids. The Kelpies was a very, very long project. It was almost 8.5 years from start to finish. I have to say about 6 years of that was unfortunately politics and finance and various other necessary evils. It was a long, long project and very, very complicated. As you can see around us, it was part of the Helix, which is an incredible transformation of the landscape here in Falkirk and Grangemouth, at the estuary of the Canals River here, the Forth and Clyde Canal running through. The project involved a vast number of other contractors and specialists and consultants to bring the whole Helix together. As I say, funded largely by the big lottery down in London. And I think at the time it was one of the biggest, it was the biggest single award that they'd ever given to a project in the UK. So the pressure was on. It was a fantastic thing to be part of. It did take a long time. The design part of it was quite quick. Once I spoke to my colleagues at Scottish Canals and we got the hang of it, I came up with the idea that you see over my shoulders quite quickly, and I'm pleased to say that they agreed with me and settled on it and were incredibly enthusiastic and supportive throughout the whole thing. Yeah, it was a long and arduous project, but we had an incredible team behind us, between myself, obviously, colleagues at Scottish Canals, Falkirk Council, the fabrication contractors, the engineers. There was a huge host, almost an army of people involved, and it was fantastic to be a part of that incredible team. All in all, we pulled it together in the end, and then this year we just celebrated the 10th anniversary. It was quite an achievement, yeah, very proud of it. Yeah, time has kind of made me see them differently. They were such an all-consuming project that I needed some space from them, both physically and mentally. And now when I come back across and come drive along the M9 there and I see them in the distance and you kind of walk along the canal side to come towards them, it really is quite an uplifting experience. And I think if I'm really honest, I can say that I needed that time and distance to see them differently. And now it gives me a chance to really reflect on them and be more, I guess, more proud of them. You know, it really was an incredible achievement. I mean, they're 300 tons each. You know, it's not many sculptors get a chance to be involved in something like that. And I can now enjoy that more and reflect on it properly. And I think I'm over the trauma of their creation. Yeah, I'm very, very proud. It really was quite something to have achieved. And yeah, quite spectacular.
Although the Kelpies are a mythical creature, Andy Scott's inspiration for them was the area's industrial heritage and the Clydesdale horses, which were so vital for the transportation of goods along these canals during the Industrial Revolution. But with industries such as iron casting and coal consigned to the past, the Kelpies have helped bring new economic activity to the area through tourism.
I'm pleased to say that one of the things that's sometimes overlooked is the impact that the sculptures have had in the wider community here, mostly especially Falkirk, Grangemouth, and I guess across central Scotland. And that's something, as I say, it kind of goes under the radar, but they've created employment. You know, the tour guides here who do a fantastic job taking visitors around, the people who work in the visitor centre there, and a host of others, you know. Also, at the time of the construction, of course, there was many local companies involved in the landscaping and putting them together. So I guess that the ripple effect, if you pardon the pun, the ripple effect of the Kelpies has been pretty phenomenal. And again, that's something that we're incredibly proud of. And you know, to think that something you could dream up and sketch and create the models with your own 10 fingers could end up having such a wide-ranging impact is really, and I don't really know the right words to describe it. It's an incredible honour and an achievement for the whole team. And yeah, on a day like this when the sun's out and you see people going on their guided tours and all the rest of it, most of the time nobody knows who I am. You know, I'm fairly anonymous and just another face in the crowds, but it feels absolutely fantastic. I can't tell you what a privilege it is to have created something. My father actually came from Falkirk, and that part of family legacy between Falkirk and the broader central Scotland belt is just something I'm just so proud of it. It's incredible. I'm deeply honoured, and yeah, it's wonderful.
Andy admits that the equine theme runs through much of his work.
The equine theme I kind of stumbled on in 1997. I was asked to submit a design for a project at on the M8 motorway at the edge of Glasgow, and I chose the subject of a Clydesdale horse, and I'm pleased to say it won. Compared to this, it was a very straightforward and very modest undertaking, but it's still there. I drove past it just the other day. It still looks good. And that really triggered something in me about the association with the horses, particularly the heavy horses. And yeah, they became my muse. They became something I've continued to work with over the years, and now done. I've never really counted many equine, and especially the heavy breeds. I'm just drawn to them. As a subject matter, I really enjoy working on them. And right now, there's a big 2-ton Clydesdale in the studio in Los Angeles, just about to trot out the door. So yeah, it's something I'm still fascinated by. There's other equine works in the offing. And yeah, I'll love to just keep making them. It's not the only thing I do, obviously, work on many other subject matters, but horses seem to hold a special appeal. There's just something about them that just keeps me going, you know.
If you've enjoyed this film, please like and share, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more great content from the Scotland channel. To find out more about the Kelpies, visit the Helix Park website, thehelix.co.uk. For more information about the Scotland channel and how you can support independent Scottish media, visit our website thescotlandchannel.tv.